So remember our three responses when we're feeling that stress and anxiety rise up in our hearts. Ask, act, and accept. The word ask refers to prayer, going right to God with it to cast that anxiety on Him. Then the word act is referring to asking ourselves the question is, does God want me to do something about this right now? Is there some action right now that I should be taking about whatever's causing me the stress and anxiety? Do you know that feeling that you need to do something about it, that part of our stress response is from God, because our lives were created to make a difference in challenging situations. And so when we feel that stress and feel like we need to do something, that's really from God. The challenge, though, is that our capacity to do things is really limited. Like right now, we're just getting bombarded with news of the way challenges are affecting millions of people's lives. I mean, really global, billions of people's lives. We can't possibly act upon all of that information. So our capacity is very limited. Our wisdom is so limited, like with what our country is going through right now. This generation has never been through anything like this. So we don't have any experience to go on to know how we should act. Our routines get all messed up when life is upset like this. And so the normal things we do, we're not so much doing anymore. And then oftentimes what we maybe most feel like doing isn't healthy or good or what we should do. So it's easier said than done to figure out, what does God want me to do in this particular stressful situation? And you know, frankly, most of the time when stress and anxiety are rising up within us, what we need to do is just pray. There aren't any other actions for us to take. But it's true that, 5% of the time, there is something that we can do about whatever is causing us the stress or anxiety, something we can do in that moment, in those moments. So when they rise up in our hearts and we go to God in prayer first, here are two simple questions we can ask ourselves about how we might need to act. Number one, what roles has God given to me in this situation? You know that roles and responsibilities come from God. Government, families, husbands, wives, children, friends, church members, pastors, all those different roles and responsibilities were designed by God. So we can ask, what roles has God given to me, and what would God have me to do in those roles? But we also need to remember how very limited our roles are. They're very important, but very limited. It feels like we have a lot of problems to deal with and a lot of responsibility, but there are actually billions of global problems that aren't within our role. We're not God. He is God. We just have our little role. We're stewards of the important little role He's given to us. So when the stress is rising, think about your roles to see if there's something God would have you to do right now. Then secondly, ask this question, what does love call me to do in this situation? Galatians 5, verse 14, for the whole law is fulfilled in one word, you shall love your neighbor as yourself. So the question is, are there any loving steps that I'm able to take and I should take right now in this situation? Many times there are things we wish we could do, but we just can't. But the question is, what can we do? Is there something that love would call me to do right now? So let me just illustrate this very personally, because right now I feel a tremendous burden of responsibility for our church family. And last night I said to my wife, I just feel like crying. And I went on to describe to her just kind of the weight of the burden for all of you. And, I'm not trying to describe all the reasons for that, but partly it's, my mind runs these scenarios of the emotional, psychological, economic, and especially spiritual damage that's possible for so many people. And so when my mind and heart get focused on that, I can feel the anxiety rise up within me. So I feel that rise within me, and the first thing I need to do is pray. Humbly admit, I'm not God. I'm just creation. Cry out to Him in my weakness. Try to cast that anxiety on Him. Then I'm going to ask, what are my roles? And let's stay focused just on my role as pastor for right now. Okay, what's a pastor supposed to do? I'm not supposed to solve all the problems in the world. I'm not supposed to solve all the problems in our congregation. But what am I supposed to do? What are my responsibilities before God? I can't try to take over for him, just be faithful to what he's called me to do in my limited role. So I ask, what's my role? What does God call me to? And then, what would love call me to do for this church family? So there are lots of things that I can do right now to try to love and serve all of you. Lots of ways I can work hard for your sake. So ask, act, that's what we're talking about in this video, and then accept. This video is about how we consider the actions we might need to take when we feel the anxiety and stress rising. And I've suggested 2 questions. What role does God have for me right now? What would love call me to do right now? And beyond that, I'm going to need to rest and accept the fact that I'm not God. More on that in the next video.